Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play 1001 Games. I'm your host, Gaming Jay, and oh, I need to get my phone out here so I can actually translate the game today. Today we're playing Bangai-O, which is a Japanese exclusive. Do I still have Google Translate on my phone? Is that even an app still? Okay, let me get this. Okay, we're good to go here. So this is a game that was released on the N64, later the Dreamcast, only in Japan. So when we get to menu screens and stuff, I have my Google Translate open on my phone. I can hold it up to the screen and it says, open the door to battle, or the second option, oops, I think I just selected it. Second option was peek something something. Okay, let's see. This probably is not going to pick anything up because there's just way too much movement on the screen. Luckily, we have some English letters here. Oh, and I accidentally selected that. That's okay. Now the two of you are friends forever, right? And you can select, yeah, it seems so, or maybe just a bit. I'll select, yeah, it seems so. All right, here we go. We got some options here. Here it is, hell. Overview, suddenly I'm hungry, let's attack. Wait, I hope these are literal translations. I have a feeling Google is messing some stuff up. But the first option here is let's attack. So let's freaking do this. So here we are. Oh, I do want to read this. Oh, and it's gone. Okay. I think maybe I have the controller set up a little weird here. So this is apparently a dual stick. Yeah, there you go. Dual stick like shooter game. So you fly around with the D-pad, you shoot with the N64's analog stick, and the goal, besides being the cutest mech game I've ever played, I've never seen a mech interested in collecting pineapples, peaches, and bananas before, but this is a very cutesy mech. He's hungry, he's on the paleo diet here, he's eating nothing but raw fruits and veggies. But anyway, the goal is to find a boss somewhere. This game is by Treasure. And if you know anything about Treasure, they make some good shooters, but they are very focused on boss fights. And they make some really awesome boss fights, not like they focus on them to their detriment or anything. Like, they make good boss fights. I'm just stuck here on the ceiling. There's so much to kill up there. Okay, what's down here? I have truly no idea. Oh, stuff down here too. So it's interesting, you're a mech, but it's like, I seem to be able to fly indefinitely. I don't know if I'm running out of jetpack fuel or something. Now, apparently this game came about when the developer wanted to challenge himself to make a game with as many flying projectiles on the screen as possible, which these days, you know, it's funny, you know, when you think about, like, the development of technology, because these days it would be, like, easy, you know, you could crack open Godot within, like, probably a couple minutes. You could have just a test scene where you have like thousands of projectiles spawning on the screen instantaneously. I've seen demos where, you know, you can have like thousands of projectiles and it doesn't really slow the computer down. Eventually it will slow down, but you can then use like a resource pool or like a bullet pool so that you're not spawning new instances and you know, deleting them from memory. Every time you spawn a bullet, you just use a queue of pre-spawned bullets, and when they're not in use, you kind of return them to the pool, and they get, you know, respawned as different new bullets in the future. Anyway, a bit of technical detail there on how some games are coded, but you could easily these days make a game with thousands of projectiles, and it would cost very little. Back in the day, though, of like, you know, especially like the DOS era and stuff where I grew up, it's like you had to pay a premium, a processing premium for every projectile that you wanted on the screen. You couldn't just have an infinite number, and I mean even today you can't have an infinite number, but you couldn't just have thousands, you know, you'd have to do some pretty clever programming tricks to get to that point. So kind of interesting. I mean, as you can see, there's bullets, there's, you know, the casings from my shots are flying out of my mech. There's a lot going on. I seem to have unlimited ammo, so I'm just going for it. I don't know if this boss emerges if I eat all the fruit. There's houses on the ceiling. There's like houses on the ground, houses on the ceiling. I'm blowing up a car here. Where am I? Oh, there we go. Oh, that car had a watermelon in it. There's a 500-point car, 450 points for the watermelon. That's almost 1G. 1G right there of fruits. So when I read that Bangai-O was going to be like a mech game, I was like, ooh, exciting, you know, like, obviously I have my own interests in mech-based games. But then when I loaded it up for just a minute to make sure I had it working before I hit record here, but I was like, oh, okay, so it's a very different, it's not what I would have thought of if someone said, you're gonna play a mech game today. Never would have thought I'd be playing a game that looks like this. It's fine, you know, it's just, you know, this might as well be a flying game. I mean, it is a flying game, you just happen to be a mech, you know, so it's fine. But then it did make me think that, wait, we had played a different Bangai-O at one point, and that one was, I believe, a puzzle game, if I'm remembering correctly. So we've got some exposure to the Bangai-O family of games here. 42 seconds. Oh, we found a guy, hold on. Okay, don't move a muscle, dude. Gotta unlock my phone here. Taking a second. Okay, here we go. What does this say? This says, that's some serious spirit, Kozu. And Kozu says, what does Kozu say? Come on, camera, pick this up. You're the boss of this branch. You're the boss. And he says, let's see. I'm Chibra's sub. I've been waiting to defeat you. Okay. And then I say, what? I'm not going to lose someone who calls himself a thug. Oh, and then somebody else here, whoever this is, says, brother, defeat the boss and you're done. That's what games are all about. Alright, and then off and off they go. Okay, we gotta defeat this guy. I need to focus on the gameplay for a second here. You know what? It truly is. I don't really use Google Translate all that often, but when I do use it, I'm like, man, that's so... It's like Star Trek in your pocket. You can like hold your camera up to a sign and it tells you what that sign says. That is awesome. I love that. I forget it exists for years at a time, and then I have to use it, and it's just like, oh, there's oh, what the hell is that guy's name? Astro Man. No. Shoot, I know him, but he's punching Godzilla. God damn it. It's gonna drive me crazy. Not Astro Boy. Has a Q, maybe? Freak. There was a Netflix movie they made about it where he fights kaijus and stuff. Anyway, on to level 2. We won't translate every screen. We'll just try and keep it for the essentials. So this game never came out in the West. Oh. This is a character. A woman dressed in a tree hat. And she says, it's miraculous lucky time for sexy dynamite information, bonker. Wait. Hold on, I gotta let it translate. Sometimes the translation is slightly different if you give it another shot. It's miraculous lucky time for sexy dynamite information broker. Okay, oh, we gotta hear everything she has to say. I put my phone down, I thought that's all she was gonna say. Okay, here, what are you saying to us? This time I'll tell you a little secret about Bangai-O shots. And my guy says, wow, that's amazing. What secret does Bangai-O have? And she says, Ricky's shots are homing bullets that track enemies so you don't have to aim them. I figured that part out. Believe it or not, playing a whole level, I noticed that. And then she says, Miami shots bounce off walls. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. This information is decidedly less sexy than I thought it was going to be. Oh, we even have a super. Didn't realize that. Okay, both of the triggers power the super. Ow, ow, ow. Oh god, oh god. Hold on, is there a way to switch characters? Just check in here. Oh, there we go. Yes. Alright. We will bounce shots. How did I do that? I think it was the L button. Alright, I don't actually mind not having homing shots because, like, we're mostly just shooting, like, houses and stationary cars, so I don't feel the need to, like, have bullets that are gonna do all the aiming for me. I can do a little aiming. There we go. I do like the bouncing though. That's a fun. That makes for fun guns. I can't fly up in there. There we go. The music sounds a bit like Sonic the Hedgehog, actually. It is like, this is like the most cheery, happy mech game I've ever played. Not that mech games are like sad, but they're usually like serious. You know what I mean? Like, when you play a mech game, you're not expecting like bright colors and like happy Japanese fellows. I don't know, maybe you are. I guess Japanese and Western sort of medias treat mechs differently. In the West, they're like weapons of war, you know, like we're gonna defend against the machines and we're gonna like mech up and like wreak havoc. In Japan, they're sort of like extensions of like flying samurai suits. Not in all anime, but in many animes, they're sort of like, in Western mechs, they're very like clunky, they're like sort of big, you know, tanks. But in Japanese stuff, they're very like dynamic and they're flying around, they're sort of spinning around with swords and stuff, so. But even those two takes, I feel like don't fully prepare you for like a happy-go-lucky sort of, you know, mech game. Okay, this is the boss again. This guy just keeps showing up to ruin my party. I think I can get him without having to go to the homing shots. Although, I guess if I go to the homing shots, it's just so much easier. The homing shots are like that weapon from Fifth Element that Zorg has. The Z9000 or whatever it is. That energy. This guy's almost killing me. Oh! I was gonna say, I thought he killed me briefly. Because we were both quite low on health there. Then you fly at the screen there, that's pretty cool. God damn it, what is this guy's name? Oh, it's driving me crazy. I know it. As soon as I hear it, I'll recognize it. I guess I can leave it for you guys in the comments to get you to say something, because you'll be like, God damn it, Jay, it's blah, blah, blah. Something man. Oh, man, it's driving me nuts. I hate that. It's like an itch in your brain that you can't itch. You know, when you know something, it's like on the tip of your tongue. You can't come up with it, so please, please, help me. In the comments, tell me what the heck that guy's name is. He's like a classic, sort of 80s, Japanese character. Again, I know they made a Netflix movie more recently for kids. I've seen it. Alright, this woman says, Night butterflies dancing in Ginza. I'm M-San, the informant. Okay. And what do you have to say now, M-San? I'm sure you've already done this, but this time I'll explain one-hit kill techniques. The omnidirectional attack. Oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. There's like a special attack. I know I haven't been using it all that much. I know it's there, you just go like that. I really should use it more. So now enemies are starting to fly at us, which is fair. Finally, enemies are starting to do their thing. So let's just blow up their homes. Like, from the enemy's perspective, I'm probably the invasive species. You know, they're living in their homes on the ceiling, eating their giant pineapples and stuff, and then a mech comes and blows up your house and takes all the food you had stored there. You know? Like, especially if you're a prepper, that's... You know, you're gonna be out for revenge at that point. You're like, honey, he took the house-sized pineapple. That was our retirement. That was our nest egg. We invested everything we had into peaches to buy that one giant peach, and he took that too. And then he blew up the apartment building where your mother's retired at. This mech is a menace. He's coming in and obliterating everything. But we do got to get our points somehow, so... Sorry civilians. Your houses had to go. Frankly, if there's a space station orbiting Earth, which I think this station is, don't build your house on the roof of it. It's just... There are better places to live, you know? Safer places. Don't get caught up in alien and mech-based, you know, rivalries. I don't know if there's any point to getting these points. Reminds me a bit of Rampage, actually, how we're constantly destroying houses. Like in Rampage, you literally were bad guy monsters. and you went around, blowing up houses, and the military would try and stop you, and you just like blow up their tanks and eat them and stuff. Rampage was a fun game. That game is just pure carnage. Okay, these cars are worth a lot of points. There we go. Oh, I get the energy. No, I can't get in there. It is actually really hard to control, guys. So here's the thing. If I'm standing here, I gotta land. If I walk off the edge here, I just start flying. Like, he doesn't fall right away. So it's like, it's actually a little hard to control yourself properly. So this guy seems to be the boss every single time. He seems to be pretty easy to beat, though. Normally, Treasure has, like, quite challenging bosses, but since I have, like, homing missiles, I can just sort of hang back and let them do the work. Like, this guy's dead. That was so easy. I'm sure the bosses get more complicated and difficult. We're probably still in, like, tutorial levels, I imagine. He's a Power Ranger. That is not his name. I know better than that. Ultraman! That's it! See, I knew it would come to me. Alright, well now if you left a comment, don't you feel silly. See, I figured it out. I didn't need your help. Didn't need your help? Don't want your help? Delete your comment. Just kidding. You left a comment. I appreciate it. You tried to help me. Blah, 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 blah. And I appreciate your help. Ultraman. That's the guy, though. Here I should be using the bouncy ones. Feels like this is a level for bouncy ones. This reminds me a bit of like arcade games, actually. Like, it's not a one-screen game, but it feels sort of like those one-screenish arcade games. Or maybe even like more than one-screen ones, like the New Zealand story game or whatever, where it's like large, you know, in many of those games, in many arcade games, your goal is to collect fruit. Started with Pac-Man, which again, if you think about like what Pac-Man is, he's a yellow guy who eats ghosts. He also eats fruit. So he has he has a mixed diet, we'll say. Not necessarily unhealthy, but I don't know how, because he's eating the fruit, but I don't know how healthy it is to eat a bunch of ghosts. I imagine ghosts taste like, or at least in the Pac-Man's world, they're sort of like the Count Chocula marshmallows, or the Lucky Charms. That's what I just sort of picture them as, but who knows what. Maybe they taste like, goo. This is like a back alleyway. Okay, this is getting us way out of the wrong direction here. But yeah, a lot of arcade games are eating fruit for some reason. And again, I think it started with Pac-Man. Because everyone, like, Pac-Man was one of the first arcade games that, like, I mean, there was Pong and stuff before it, Asteroids. But Pac-Man, like, you know, took the world by storm. So afterwards, people, like, tried to copy Pac-Man. They're like, I don't know, people like eating fruit. Let's not mess with the winning formula, you know? This guy again. So yeah, everyone, ever since Pac-Man, everybody just eats fruit in arcade games. We've moved away from fruit in modern times. There are other kinds of power-ups you can collect. Coins. Mario was big into coins. I mean, again, he wasn't the first one or only one to do coins, but he certainly made coins popular. I feel like one thing that never caught on was rings. Like, Sonic didn't want to copy Mario, so they didn't do coins, so they did rings. But then you don't really see rings in too many other games. It's kind of a Sonic-only thing. You see coins everywhere. Coins, gems, and probably the most common pickup of all in all video games is a rotisserie chicken or a full-cooked turkey. Sometimes it's ham. It's usually turkey or chicken. A lot of games like to put that in. I would not be surprised if this game somewhere had a fully cooked chicken. Alright. We're getting our sexy information there. From our sexy informant. Off we go. Alright, we are actually getting some bullets flying at us now. So I really don't know if there's absolutely any point to collecting these fruits, because I mean, I guess you did it in the arcade for a high score, but I've said this before, like, you know, nobody cares about high score anymore. It's like not even a thing. What people do care about is, like, in a way people care about score, because people care about, like, speed running or, like, completing games as quick as possible or with as few, you know, weapons or whatever, you know, like, sort of showing off your skill. But nobody's like, ooh, I collected all the fruit, you know, like, people Video games even have moved away generally from just like pointless points pickups. Like if you even look at like early DOS games like Commander Keen and stuff, you had points, you know, like, oh yeah, you get points by picking up stuff. You know, like, I feel like a lot of games just don't even include points anymore because it's pointless. Mind the pun. But like, yeah, look at Mario Wonder. You still collect coins, you still get 1-ups and stuff. You don't get points anymore, really. You used to get points in Mario when you jumped on guys. What is this? Green ball head guy playing with an Ultraman toy. Semi-nude. Alright, let's see. What's he saying? Hey, that's it. And then I say, or he says, what's your name? I'm making a core. Right? Make on the core and make a core. My occupation is core. Okay. So it's a secret, but there's a person in my head too. Takaishi-kan. Takaishi to Takaishi. Okay. Relationship. Wait. Whoop, that went away. Relationship between the two. I can't really say that. Kids are playing too. I don't know what the heck is going on. We're just gonna skip this. Blow this thing up. Whatever you are, man, you're dead. That's what you are. There you go. We murdered him. He was a sentient button or something. Bangai-O. Oh, that was the end of the level? That was a boss? What is happening in this game? Truly, how many levels are we actually going to go through here? Like, how many levels exist in this game? I think maybe this will be our last level, because, you know, we've gotten a good sense of, like, what this game entails. But yeah. Yeah, points are a thing of the past. Ugh. Although, I could see, like, you could make a modern indie game and, like, really, like, make points a thing again. Like, if you made points the emphasis of the game, that could work. But a lot of games used to just have points just cause. Like, every game had 3 lives, sometimes continues, had multiple levels, and points. You know, like, that was like, if you made a game, it's like, those are the rules. And then, these days, games sort of violate that more and more, and they have all sorts of, you know, different ways of doing things. One thing that you almost never see in video games anymore is lives. There's only one case, like in some games, there's, you know, like 1 life and you're dead kind of thing, you know, like Backpack Hero. You don't really have multiple lives there, you just, when you're dead, you're dead. Or other games, like virtually any first-person shooter or whatever these days, you have infinite lives, and you just go back to the checkpoint, or maybe back to town when you fail, you know. There's not really such a thing as lives. So, but it used to be like you'd have 3 lives and then you're dead. Or, you know, you could die like that, like for us. And normally I would continue, but I was thinking of wrapping up anyway. So actually the game did me a favor by brutally murdering me. And we can see what she says, actually. She says, "It's okay, brother. My brother is not a loser." I didn't catch the full thing there. Bangai-O. This is also, by the way, known as Bakuretsu, Muteki, Bangai-O. Which I don't know what any of this translates into. I'm gonna guess Mech Fight. This is Mech Fight by Treasure. And it was released in 1999. It's one of the games, the book 1,000 video games just play before you die. I think, you know, as far as shooters and stuff go, like, it seems solid, you know, like, it has some sort of cool mechanics with the different weapons and stuff. Oh my god, the computer can't even get out of this. What is this demo? What was that? He just bounced in the corner the whole time. This is back in the time when you could make a video game and sell it through like a major publisher, and there were some things you really didn't have to care about, and one of those things was the demo. There are some even really good games that have awful demos where the computer just bounces around a corner like that or dies instantly. They're always funny to see, but yeah, so like if you like this kind of game, these shooting games, especially if you're really into sort of the anime and the cutesiness, and especially if you can speak Japanese, I'm just throwing that out there, this might be up your alley for you. I think as far as like mech games go for me, this isn't sort of my style of mech game, and I'm not super into like the flying around shooters, so I don't know if I would have played this back in the day. But it definitely seems to have a lot of polish for what it is. So yeah, take it for what it is. Guys, what do you think of Bangai-O here? Is it a game you've heard of before? Have you played it? Even if you haven't, what do you think for seeing it for the first time? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, hope you did enjoy yourself. If you did, like the video, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I will be back in the next one with yet another game. So until next time, my friends, you take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. Peace!